Back again. This time, well, wait, hold on. Welcome to Oktane Minutes podcast. Currently 1:41 in the morning. So, this is a special type of episode. I'm not going to review a movie. But I was playing with ChatGPT and just kicking around some hypotheticals. And I'd like to share what happened with the hypotheticals. So mind you, I will start with a few premises. This is based on time travel because it's one of the great tropes of science fiction, one of the great mysteries of man. It has now been proven mathematically that time travel in some capacity can be achieved. It is achieved naturally by going from the present, here and now, as you watch this, into the future. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The next 10 seconds, natural time progression. But it's also now been proven mathematically that you can go back. At least not physically, but to send information back to potentially be great benefit. So with that, I had this idea. And I got the idea from watching one of the X-Men movies, Days of Future Past, right? Not from the original comic book source, but from the movie, the way they portrayed time travel with the movie. Okay? There was a lot of back and forth with this. I put it in one of my other phone's email. So I'm going to be reading stuff and talking and paraphrasing. And I don't want to go long because this might be a 5-hour thing if I did. So I will break this up in pieces wherever I feel comfortable to stop. So my question was the concept of time in its own actuality just a construct of human consciousness? And it said to me, they said it's a deep and fascinating idea. Let's break it down. Time travel is often thought in two major ways. Physical time travel, moving forward through time, the way we move through space. It's just like I put in the caveat. Like in science fiction, using a machine to pump and jump into the past or the future. Pump and jump. Consciousness-based time traveling, altering and accessing time through the mind or awareness, which is more philosophical or metaphysical. Interesting. So is time travel a manipulation of collective human consciousness? In some schools of thought, quantum mysticism, Jungian psychology, and even certain esoteric traditions, time is seen less as a fixed linear path and more as a construct shaped by the perception, especially of a collective perception, right? From this angle, linear time is a product of human consciousness trying to make sense of a constantly changing present. The past only exists as a memory or a record. The future exists only as expectation, imagination, or potential. If collective human consciousness were to shift, say if everyone truly believed and experienced time as a non-linear, our relationship with time could change. Some theorists argue that time travel might be more about shifting mental states or dimensions of awareness, rather than physical or physically moving through time. So, this is already kind of like a thing laid out. I mean, I'm not the first one to think about it, but it's one of those concepts that's good for your own thinking, I mean, yes, what I'm messing with is bad for the environment. I do understand that. But it's one of those things that just kind of keeps you tapped in. My brother said, you know why they don't have to microchip you? Because you got ChatGPT and you got all these social media things to occupy your brain. You're not there with your thoughts. But this is how I came up with this, because I'm alone with my own thoughts, right? I'm also recording this, so I have an MP3 version of this. So here, where are we at? Okay. Some ideas support your question. Carl Jung's collective unconscious shares symbols, memories, and archetypes across humanity. It could influence how we experience time. Akashic records from the New Age, a supposed spiritual database of all human events, suggests that time can be accessed through consciousness. That's basically like the movie Altered States that came out in the 80s, where the guy was trying to get to the first thought man had, and he went through deprivation and DMT and all these spiritual deals just to kind of reveal that, reveal and break himself back down to being a caveman temporarily, right? Quantum observer effects. In physics, the observer plays a role in shaping outcomes. Some interpret this to mean consciousness interacts with time itself. I mean, in a way it does. Retrocality, a concept in physics. The idea that the future can affect the past challenges traditional causality and suggests time may not be as one-directional as we think, or be as one-directional as we think. So we may have different concepts of time, right? Our views of time may be slower and faster with each individual, because in reality, you're really just a human inside of your body, and everything else is just concept. Right? So to answer your question, is time travel more of a manipulation of the collective human consciousness? Short answer, possibly. If time is not objective, but a conscious or constructive perception, then changing collective consciousness could reshape how we experience time. This would be time travel in the sci-fi sense. But it could allow for accessing memories, timelines, and alternate outcomes in profound ways, more like tuning into different frequencies of reality. What about that? Okay, so Gooch, what up? I don't know if that's Gooch the Great. It was, I don't know. And so, and I said, and then I asked, how does this connect with deja vu versus subconscious intent? Right? And then they said deja vu and subconscious intent are both tied deeply into how we experience time through consciousness, and then may actually be two sides of the same mysterious coin. Let's unpack both of them. How they connect with time travel and conscious manipulation. Deja vu, echoes of a nonlinear mind. Deja vu is the eerie feeling that you get, of course you know what that is, that you have experienced something or done it before. Memory misfiring, the brain accidentally processing current experiences through short-term memory instead of sensory input, making the present feel like a memory. Time overlap. Dimensional bleed-through. Some metaphysical thinkers believe deja vu is your consciousness briefly syncing with a parallel version of yourself, a non-signal from another timeline, or you who already made this choice, another you who made this choice. Pre-life memory, or fate. Some spiritual traditions believe we experience a certain pre-planned moments that we feel similar or familiar with because we have seen this before through incarnations or in dreams. In this view, deja vu It's like a glitch in the matrix, an echo from other parts of collective time, consciousness that momentarily bleed into the now. Subconscious intent. The architect of reality, your subconscious is powerful. It handles patterns, emotions, beliefs, fears, desires without needing your awareness, as it is often described. The gateway between consciousness, the mind, and collective consciousness. A kind of deep programming system that shapes your reality based on your internal scripts. Now here's where it gets wild. Many spiritual teachers, psychologists, and even quantum theorists suggest that your subconscious shapes time by attracting events, people, and outcomes that match its inner narrative. This ties into the idea of law of attraction, synchronicity. That is Carl. I have a book on that by Carl, not by Carl Jung, but it's a book about synchronicity and retrocausality, quantum mechanics. Subconscious intent could be planting seeds across time that grow into your future reality, making your future feel strangely familiar when it arrives, i.e. deja vu. The connection between the two. What if deja vu is a moment when subconscious intent becomes conscious? Like a signal that your inner world is syncing up with the external timeline. You're exactly where you're meant to be based on the decisions made deep in the psyche across timelines. Or maybe a kind of time echo where a future version of you has already passed through this moment and left a psychic fingerprint. So how does this all relate to time travel? If time travel is more about manipulating consciousness than physics, deja vu is a symptom of consciousness drifting across timelines or recalling soul-level memories. Right? Subconscious intent is the force that bends time, the time path, shaping which timeline you're moving through. So, that's what I was dealing with. Need I need to go more? So I asked this. What about something I call multiple collective intelligence, meaning that the universe is so vast that you have multiples of the same person doing the same thing of variations, and their minds cross space or somehow, or across space or somehow connected. Right? That's not the actual term, but that's just what I was thinking of how I can explain it. Multiple collective intelligence, right? So ChatGPT responded with, profound idea. You're not alone in this thinking along those lines. What you're describing as multiple collective intelligence sounds like a fusion of several concepts from quantum theory, metaphysics, universal theory, and spiritual philosophy. So they go on to unpack. Man, what is it? What's that guy? He's gonna just shred my theories to pieces. But you know, we're having fun, right? We're having fun. Where am I? My concept: multiple collective intelligence. So what I was saying, what they or how they interpret it, or how the machine interprets it, that the universe is so vast that there are multiple versions of the same person doing all the same things, slightly different things. Their minds are somehow connected across time and space. This suggests parallel selves or timelines exist across the cosmos. These selves are not isolated. They're physically and or energetically networked. These links may influence thoughts, decisions, dreams, and even deja vu. Scientific and philosophical echoes of this idea. Multiverse theory, quantum mechanics. Every decision spawns a new branch of reality. There are potentially infinite versions of you living out different variations of your life. Right? Some physicists, like Hugh Everett, with many world interpretations, argue these realities exist simultaneously. Quantum entanglement. Shout out to Jada Pinkett Smith. She ruined that boy's life. He ain't even, yeah. He don't even play baseball no more, man. You know, he got a husband. August Alice Sr. Boy was freaking and found out he didn't even like women. Shout out to Jada Pinkett Smith. Will Smith's a hip hop legend, by the way. Quantum entanglement. Particles can be so entangled and influenced by each other instantaneously across vast distances. Replace particles with consciousness and you got your MCI versions of you across reality, subtly influencing one or another. Carl Jung's collective unconsciousness. There is a shared unconscious realm among all the humans filled with the archetypes and symbols. Right? Expand this to include parallel selves, and you have metaconsciousness web that connects all the yous. Morphic resonance concept by Rupert Sheldrake. Information from all the living systems exists in all kinds of universal memory fields. This means that the pattern of thought and experiences ripple out, affecting others with similar energetic signatures. That I like that. I like that right there. That kind of resonates with martial arts. That if you tap in strong enough, you concentrate hard enough, you can pick up signatures. You can pick up the energy signatures from anything that's living. All right. How does this tie into time travel consciousness? And if you have multiple selves spread across space and timelines, then some deja vu gut feelings or intuitive flashes could be crosstalk from other yous. Dreams might just be personal. They might be echoes from other timelines. Emotional or psychic deja vu may be resonance between similar experiences happening to different versions of you at the time of soul frequencies. Now imagine, one version of you chooses to move across the country, another version stays, but at the same time, in moments, both realities, you both feel uneasy. That's a shared emotional frequency that causes a ripple, and both of you pick up on it without knowing why. What if the human mind is a node in a larger web? You're not just connected to other people, you're connected to other yous. The multiple collective intelligence could be a universal database of all your lives across timelines. A decision-making network where different versions of you explore different outcomes, like a hive mind learning in parallel. A soul-level system trying to maximize experience, learning, and or growth. So why would this exist? Here are a few metaphysical reasons to your idea that might be true. Consciousness is non-local. The mind is not trapped in the brain. It is part of the universe. It can exist across time and space. Souls evolve through variation. If you live multiple versions of life simultaneously, you gather more wisdom than you could in a single timeline. Reality is a mirror. Every version of you is helping every other version see something, learn something, feel something deeper. So, I'm already 20 minutes in, so I'm going to break this part down and we'll pick up some other time. So that's the first part of it, and I hope you will enjoy this in the future. So, Space Cadet, over and out.